What's up guys, welcome back to CS2 Daily. We had two big matchups go down at Blast Bounty. First up, Virtus.pro survived a crazy test against MIBR in double OT, and then NAVI almost got some packing by TNL of all teams, but they managed to pull it back in a 3-map scrap. I'll break down both series, highlight the biggest plays, and give my thoughts. Don't forget to drop a sub and like if you want more quick CS2 updates like this. I'll keep you in the loop, and let's get straight into it. Let's start with MIBR versus Virtus.pro, and this one was a banger. Starting with Train, Virtus.pro came out swinging on their CT side, shutting MIBR down early and running up a 9-3 lead to close out their CT side in a dominant fashion. It looked like they were about to cruise to an easy win, but credit to MIBR, they showed some life, stringing together a few rounds, but Virtus.pro just slammed the door shut. There were some questionable plays from VP during the match. Insani had a moment where he literally just strolled into A site with zero resistance because Virtus.pro stacked B with no info. But those moments weren't enough for MIBR to close the gap, and Virtus.pro closed out the map 13-8. Icy and Perfecto were the stars here in this one. Both dropping big numbers and keeping things locked down. Then we have Overpass, and this one was absolute chaos. MIBR actually looked really solid to start. They won a 3v5 pistol, converted their early rounds, and built up a huge 10-2 lead on CT. It looked like we were headed to a third map. I was ready to turn the stream off. And for a long time, Virtus.pro couldn't get anything going, even when they looked like they had a round locked in. Like a late B plant, MIBR would 3v5 them and defuse. It was really messy from Virtus.pro. But once Virtus.pro switched to CT, it was a different story. They flipped the momentum, tied it up, and yeah, suddenly we're going to OT. That's when the highlight reel started. Fame pulled off an ace in overtime to keep the series alive, which we're looking at right now. And then Flit said hold my beer and grabbed an ace of his own just a few rounds later. Yeah, so ElectroNic and Flit just refused to lose. Both of them were absolutely cooking. Each dropping over 35 kills. ElectroNic actually ended Overpass with 42 kills and nearly a 1.50 rating. MIBR had chances to close it out, but VP just outclassed them in the clutch, and after a wild back and forth in double OT, they closed it out 22-19. So yeah, you got to give it to ElectroNic and Flip. Both maps, both halves, both OTs, they were just dominating the scoreboard and the server. So yeah, they move forward looking sharp, and MIBR are out. Then we had NAVI versus TNL, and NAVI nearly fumbled the bag, but in the end they got it done. TNL picked Ancient, and I honestly had no idea how capable this team were before going into this. And you could see straight away they came in with a plan. A very aggressive team, confident, and ready to throw punches. They grabbed the pistol and even went up 4-1 early, but NAVI slowly clawed their way back into it. Makazze and Bit were doing heavy lifting, and for a moment it looked like NAVI were going to steal this one clean. But TNL wouldn't go away. They strung together 6 straight rounds, got to match point at 14-12, and even after that NAVI tied it up 14-14. TNL clutched it out in the final 2 with Wonderful missing a key op shot on A that cost NAVI big. TNL punished and closed out 16-14. With Makazze dropping 29 kills for NAVI, but it wasn't enough. Very impressed with the individual performances from TNL in this one. Hopefully we get to see some of these kids in Tier 1 at some point. And then we had Nuke, and this is where NAVI basically said let's stop trolling, and steamrolled. They won the pistol, dominated the half, and looked way more structured. Wonderful had a really disgusting 1v2 clutch, which we're looking at, and it felt like the turning point. From there, NAVI just snowballed. They went up 10-2 on T side. Yeah, T side, and the game was basically done right there. Makazze, Bit, and Wonderful were all lights out, and TNL looked completely lost. Final score 13-5, complete domination. And then swiftly moving on to the third and final map. Not much really to say on this one either. We had Mirage. TNL actually won both pistols here and started out solid. They went from 3-7 down to a 5-7 half, then took the lead 8-7 early second half, but once again NAVI just flipped a switch. They ecoed to tie 8-8 and then pulled away cleanly. Dowie had a rough one, went 0-10 on T side. Couldn't find impact, completely non-existent that T side. Meanwhile, Navi's core stayed consistent. Wonderful topped the scoreboard again. Ime had a few big frags and the whole squad played way more comfortably than on Ancient. Final score 13-9 and Navi taking the series 2-1, closing it out, and TNL get knocked out. So yeah, that's all for the first half of today's Blast Bounties games. I will be covering the last two matches, so don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care.